This is my workbench. It's a Diefenbach workbench, made in Germany, and it was distributed by a company out of Denver that no longer exists. This workbench has an in vise and this goofy vise. Never really been a fan of vices that are like this. This bench belonged to a friend's father, his late father, and picked up this workbench from my friend and gave it a good home. I think if I were in a position where I didn't have this particular bench, I would have likely constructed my own at this point. But this is a well-made bench. It has a lot of meaning to my friend, and it now has a lot of meaning to myself. So I've really leaned into this bench, and I've come to love it a great deal. That doesn't mean there aren't things that I'd like to change about it. This video is going to be a documentation of several changes to this bench. This is going to include the installation of a new front vise. That installation will require the removal of this part of the bench here, and then integration of the vise. I'm also eager to build storage drawers for the center part. I've never been happy with this situation. There's also a little bit of flex in the bench that has always kind of given me fits. So adding the storage boxes to the middle is going to weigh down the bench and give it a little bit more heft, and will likely result in more overall torsion stability. So those are going to be the two main focuses. There's a few other things that I'll probably do some tune-up on as we come to it, including the surface of the table. So, here we go. Oh, okay, alright. Just want to start out by saying Kleben Sie auf Zappen. I probably pronounced that wrong. But this is not the first time that I have seen really, really crappy glue-ups by Germans. And I just think that everybody in Germany, all the woodworkers in Germany, need to understand that you don't just put glue on the tip of the tenon. Look at this. Do you see that? There's just, the only place that there's glue in that is in the bottom. Right? They put zero glue on this tenon. This is not the first time I have come across a piece of German furniture, and I'm going to call this furniture for now, where they clearly did not know how to put glue on tenons. Alright? And this is what happens, Germany. This is what happens. This is what happens when you don't put glue on the tenons in the Alps. This is what happens. That's the end of my rant. Thank you. So I've given this a lot of thought. I've actually thought about it for a few years now. This in order for the front vise to go on, this entire section has to come off. And that is a pretty big hunk of the workbench, including the areas, that are box jointed in there. There's also a pillar that holds up this area, and that will become redundant. So we'll have to modify that area down below as well. This will of course come off. I'll reuse this vise somewhere else at some other time. One thing in particular that we have to do is we actually have to cut across here, and I'm not super pumped about that, but I think that what I'm actually going to end up doing once I've got this face clear here is I'll come in and route some spaces between this face and this, and glue in some inserts to sort of act like sort of makeshift finger joints or whatever. So we'll see how that goes. I'll make a decision about exactly what I'm going to do there when I get to that point. But as it stands, this has got to go. Probably start by removing this bolt, and we'll go from there. Alright, so the amputation was successful. I'll clean this up with a block plane. The rest of the old piece here, I'm going to try to reuse as much of this as possible. I think I may be able to use this front bit here as the front of the face vise. We'll just have to see. And as far as filling in the gap down below, I may be able to use some of this to do that. So I'm going to try to reuse as much of that as possible. I think my heater just went out. Okay, so now that I've done this amputation, we're going to plane this true. But we've also made this section of the bench redundant, and I'm perfectly okay with that. The whole point of a lot of this is to stop banging my hip on it. So I'm going to go ahead and mark a line and cut this here, and go ahead and remove this and that support there. And hopefully I will end up reusing some of these materials on the bench itself. Descriptions of the offender alleged that it is over 10 meters in length, possessing a huge set of jaws that make up over a third of its body. That's it. walk you through where we're at with this fella. I want to note that I am using unobtainium for this build, but unobtainium I felt like it was going to give me the best quality. Yeah, well, you get the picture. So anyway, this guy's in here. I had initially intended for this just to sort of be a dry fit, but we had to go ahead and pound them on in, and so I'm gonna have to do a little cleanup here in place, which isn't that big of a deal. So what I've got here, I've got the fronts and the sides. If you notice, I've left a little bit of room here. What I'm actually going to do, instead of cutting dados into the drawers and dropping a drawer bottom into it, I am actually going to take a 1/4-inch sheet of unobtainium and put it on the bottom of the drawers. It's for a couple of reasons. One reason is that I'm actually just going to butt joint all of the drawers and brad nail them together. So putting the bottom on the bottom is going to help with the overall strength of the drawer, since I'm kind of being a little lazy on it. The reason that I'm choosing to be lazy is because I'm actually going to reface the fronts of these, probably with some of this rosewood. You know, I don't know if I'll get to it at the end of this build. I got a lot of irons in the fire right now, but that's kind of the goal. So either way, it is unobtainium, so you're not really going to notice a drop in quality, and you know, the drawers aren't going to be funky and start getting weird on us. So anyway, that also, the other reason for that is that it maximizes the amount of space that I have in the drawer, which is pretty important. I have a limited amount of space here. I have high hopes for these drawers. There's at least one of these drawers that I'd like to put a couple of trays in. So we'll see how that goes. Probably going to end up building a lot of this off camera, just because people don't seem all that enthused with table saw work. So up to this point, I haven't shown all of that necessarily. Still need to cut the drawer bottoms, and then we'll slap the drawers together. Okay, let's see here. So the drawers are finished. They all fit pretty well. Now, because of the way that I did the drawers, I'm not going to be able to, I guess, do what the smart thing to do, which would have been, you know, actually glue up these face panels, veneer them before this is all done, but really not too worried about it. The veneering that's going to be done is for my own edification. And we're going to do it, you know, in nearly the most complicated way, I guess. I don't know. The fact that I can pull these drawers out is pretty great. So anyway, I'm going to cut some rosewood veneers for these. They'll probably be like 1/8 inch veneers, something like that. And then hopefully have enough to cut for this as well, so that I can put in the trim on this. It's going to be kind of silly because what I'm basically doing is dressing up the front. I'll dress up the sides as well, but I'm probably not going to do anything to the back. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, wow, I can really see how much dust is on the lens right now. Hang on. Alright, well, that's gotta be better. You know, all you camera people out there have got to just... I mean, you would probably just absolutely die if you could see the way that I treat my Lumax. But, you know, it is what it is. It's not like anybody's watching these videos. Just to bring you up to speed, I have not done a great job filming this project. I tend to do that with shop infrastructure projects. I tend to be kind of lazy about it, about filming, not doing them. But anyway, what we've got here, I started facing these drawers out, and of course, kind of knew this was going to be the case, that these pieces weren't going to be quite big enough. I was sort of in denial, but I figured I'd cross that bridge when I got there. So of course they're not big enough, which is fine. We're going to frame them in. I've got some curly maple. We'll frame them in and kind of go from there. It's really cold. It's been really cold forever. I live in a very cold place. My shop is cold. And PVA glue is weird in the cold. Below about 45, it doesn't work great. I got the heater going in here, but you know, it's a particularly cold day, so I don't know if I'm gonna have luck with that. What I may end up doing is actually using hide glue to glue these down. I like using hide glue, especially during the winter. And the other great thing about hide glue is that if for whatever reason I decide to remove the faces, I don't see why I would, but if I ever chose to, I could just heat up the glue and right off they come. So anyway, that's what we're doing. I'm gonna go ahead and carry on with that. Okay, so I was gonna face these with the leftover rosewood that I have, but the lengths are not working for me. It's just a little too short to make it work efficiently. So I've got some longer, thin pieces of Purple Heart that I'm gonna use, because why not? Here's where we're at. I've got one coat of shellac on the bottom. I'm not too worried about that. I just wanted to make the bottom a little smoother, so I shellacked and waxed the bottom. I've got 2 coats on the trim and then 3 coats on the top. And once again, the beauty of shellac is that I did all of that in less than an hour. The top has a little bit longer to dry. Once it's dry, I'll flatten it out again and then wax it. The only reason I'm doing a little extra on the top is because I will actually have room to put things on the top, and I know that I'll shove clamps or, you know, shooting boards or whatever up here. But it's not going to get a lot of visual attention. So I'm not doing anything to the sides yet because I have another plan for that. You'll see if it works out. And anyway, we're going to basically wait for this to dry, put a little wax on the top, and then pop it back in place. And we'll have it in there in a permanent way. And then we've got 2 more drawer fronts that are finished with their glue ups. I have 1 more to glue up, and then we'll clean up the drawers and be in the home stretch. Okay, so I'm really pleased with how these two projects came out. I'm very pleased with the Vise. Very pleased with the drawers. Very pleased with the drawers. I just want to let anybody out there who has OCD, I love you, I support you in your journey. I was thinking of you when I did this. I did have a piece of purple heart I could put there. So we're gonna get these loaded up. There's a couple of these that I want to build some trays for. We'll do that at a later time. There's enough space in here to really maximize having a couple of trays, and got some chisels that I'd like to go in there and some other bench tools. So I'm gonna really enjoy filling this up and finding a home for the things that need a good home close by. Anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate when folks watch these videos. It makes me feel like, I don't know, it makes me feel seen. So, anyway, thanks a lot.